when you get it, that while it feels good to be loved, nothing feels better in all of the universe than to love. As you look out with the intention of finding love, don't look for the love through their eyes, look for the connection through your eyes. Let it be love of whatever I can feel appreciation of. And as you just begin to tune yourself first to the things that are easy to appreciate, and then to the things that are obvious to appreciate, and then as you begin looking for things to appreciate, you begin to tune yourself into a vibrational alignment with who you really are about things that are easier for you to love. Because, friend, we don't want it to be this way. It shouldn't be this way. But for most of you, the hardest focal point on the planet for you to love is that one you see reflected back in the mirror. Go home today and sit before a mirror and sit there and look into the depths of your eyes and look with the intention of seeing your inner being looking back at you and say, I know you're in there, and I have an inkling of how you feel about me because Abraham has been talking about it, and I'm just going to look for you until I find you. I'm going to stay here until I find that feeling of awareness of me and appreciation of me that I'm looking for. And from where you are, we can feel that you can get there very quickly. The most important thing that we're saying to you is this self-love that you think you're looking for is not love of self. It's love that is self. And there's a difference. There's a difference between loving me and being me who loves. And it's being me who loves that is really you. And when you're me who loves, it's easy to love that one and 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 that one, and then it becomes irrelevant what your object of love is if you're loving. What difference does it make? What is the reason, the focal point for the love that you're feeling? What possible difference does it make? That would be like eating a really wonderful meal, and while you're eating it, being unhappy that you can't be eating that one and that one and that one and that one and that one. Doesn't matter which meal you're eating as long as the meal you're eating feels wonderful, and doesn't matter what the focal point of your love is as long as the love that you're feeling is the love that really is you, you see.
I can flow love that way. Are you saying that when I'm flowing love like that randomly to anything and everything, that that is who I am?
Yes. That is who you are.
Oh,
that
so
is
big.
who you are. And the more you do it deliberately and acknowledge that is who I am, then the more you demand it of yourself, and demand is too strong a word, but the more you set your intention to find that, and the more you look for it everywhere you go. And the more you look for it, the more you find it, and the more you find it, the more you look for it, until soon you just become it. And then you become this stable being who is never off your balance. Who, if someone looks at you and doesn't find appreciation as they're looking, you understand it hasn't got anything to do with you. It never had anything to do with you. Everything that has everything to do with you, you are in control of, you see.
Why is it so hard for me and others to look at our own human self and not feel that same ripple of appreciation?
Because you're looking for love to be focused at you rather than love to be focused through you.
But I want to focus it at myself. I know what you mean about third parties. I've been down that rabbit hole, but I'm talking about focusing it on myself.
But what we're saying to you, and we want you to love you like we love you, but in the meantime, what difference does it make what the object of your attention is when you're feeling love? And the thing that is apparent, and we appreciate you saying it, and everyone feels it to some extent also, is that in your awareness of not loving self, you can't find self-love. And so we're just trying to build a bridge for you that, in other words, anytime somebody hurts your feelings, it is because you're in a different vibration than who you really are. And so this quest for self-love, we think, is down the rabbit hole. We wouldn't be looking for self-love. We'd be looking for the part of self that does love. Rather than saying to someone that we love, I want you to love me, we would begin training ourselves into a desire that says, I love loving you. I love the feeling of loving you. And how you feel about me is irrelevant. I love the feeling of loving you. And then what begins to happen, it's like our friend who got so angry at us, Abraham, I don't think you care if my lover ever comes to me. We said, that's exactly right. We just want you to form a vibration that makes you feel so wonderful that it doesn't matter. But then he cannot not come. In other words, when you find that vibration, the universe has to match you up with somebody that feels exactly that way, you see. But we don't want you to let what's happening in terms of manifestation be the criteria for how you feel. So many people say, okay, Abraham, I'll play your silly games, I'll do your processes, I'll do whatever I can do to bring myself to the place of offering the vibration that will get me to the manifestation that I want. And we say, have you heard nothing from us? It isn't getting you to the manifestation that we are teaching you all of this. It is getting you to the place of feeling so good that the manifestation doesn't matter. And then you worry and say, oh, so I'm not maybe going to get the manifestation. We say, that's not what we're saying at all. We're saying the desire for the manifestation is what gives you the reason to want to connect to the energy that is really you, that is the true living of life. And that self-love is evident then, you see. And that's why we just don't hit you over the head with an I love me stick, because that really is not what you're looking for. You're looking for reasons to love. You're looking for reasons to love. And in this environment, there is so much abundance of that. In that light, we would like to say to you that we find you loving of yourself quite often. We find you absolutely lovable. We find you recognizing that you are lovable. We believe with everything that we are that if it were not for your comparison of yourself to others and, oh, here it is. This is really what is at the heart of all of this. So all of you stand where you do and you launch rockets of different things that you want. And you conclude that others are already living what you want and you're not. And you gather that information by comparing the smiles on their faces and the words that they speak and the things they write in their books and the movies they show you. So you use their success as a club that works against you as you compare them getting what they want and pointing out to you that in some instances you're not getting what you want. And what we want you to understand is that you cannot accurately compare what anybody is getting because you have no way of accurately assessing their points of vibrational relativity. And what they appear to be showing you and what they're actually living are two very different things. Don't you know people that have all the money in the world and are still dissatisfied? Don't you know people that are living in what you think is your dream house who are dissatisfied with it? Don't you find it amazing that people that ought to be happy under the conditions that you think you're reaching for aren't? And doesn't it sort of point out to you that you just can't compare anything that anybody else is living with what you're living? We don't want you to feel bad about in every moment not being able to announce to the world that you have achieved absolute self-love. We just want it to be your never-ending quest. And we will say to you that you have hit upon something that is so essential and so to the core of who you really are and who you were as you came forth into this body. Because that self-love is the driving, motivating factor. It is the inspiration. It is the thing. It is the ultimate calling. Here Source is, over here, loving you with everything that it is. And of course it is the quest that you are most wanting to answer. And so therefore, of course, it would be the thing that you would feel most uncomfortable about not achieving moment after moment after moment. But what Source wants to say to you is that the love that you hold for yourself in any moment is enough. In fact, it's the perfect love under the conditions in which you are living. It is enough. It's just right. Where you are on your path is just exactly right. It's exactly where you should be on your path. If you can acknowledge that where I am is just right, and given the circumstances of my life, I'm right on track. And I'm reaching for a fuller, more encompassing sensation of love. And Source is over there patiently, never for a moment impatient, always loving me. Do you know, here's a good thing to say to yourself. Even though for whatever reason I don't like myself very much right now, I know that I have not caused Source to deviate in Source's appreciation of me at all. I have not convinced Source not to like me. Source will never, ever, 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 ever do that. Source maintains its absolute appreciation of you. And as you know that, maybe it will help you give yourself a little more of a break. Maybe it will help you to acknowledge I'm in the perfect place relative to everything, even relative to self-love.